Good morning, everybody. Early on a Sunday morning, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. My name's Shamash. I specialize in mindfulness, and I'm helping Action for Happiness share their calendar. And today's November, New Age November, and today is Sunday, the 8th of November. So the focus is find out something new about someone you care about. And at first, I thought, what's a good way of doing that? And it's not as easy as you first think because people we care about, people we know quite well, you need to, it's hard to think of a good question, something that you may not have asked before. So I had a good look on my friend Google to see what she came up with. And here's some questions I thought you may never have asked someone that you actually know quite well. So I'm going to read through some of these and see if any of these resonate with you. Okay. First question is, what do they think they should teach at school but don't? And when you ask questions about school and education, it starts to get to the root of what people are really passionate about. So I like that question. I think that's a good one. Next question that you could ask, and just jot these down if any of these resonate with you and you think they're good questions for your friend or family member or others. Next question: what inscription would you want on your gravestone? Thinking for myself, I'd have to think about that a bit myself. Actually, that's a really good question. As I'm speaking, if you like any of these questions, write them in the comments. If you have any great questions that you like to ask people to get to know them a bit better, then share them in the comments and we can pool our resources together. Next good question. What is a cause that is worth dedicating your whole life to? There you go, there's an interesting one. Next one. This kind of links to education as well, helps to get to the root of what people are about. What should parents stop teaching their children? What do you think parents should stop teaching their children? And that might give you some ideas of what they think shouldn't be taught. For me, I would probably say instilling religious beliefs too early on. I don't think they should do that, but they do. Here's a really tough question, or maybe not. Is it okay to sacrifice one life to save 10 lives? It's a bit of an ethical one. It's a good one, though. You can think of all sorts of different scenarios. Depend on the situation for me. I'm starting to think about these questions. I'm discovering things about myself by answering these questions. Next one. How much do you change when you know no one is around? So it's about putting social masks on that we all kind of almost naturally do in different situations. We act slightly differently, but some people don't at all. So a good way to find out that about them. Funny one here. How useful would you be in a zombie apocalypse? It's good to have some fun questions too. How much do you know about the world outside your country? That's a bit of an open question, I think. That maybe that's a bit too tough. Here's a good one, because if you might know what their favorite movie is, but what movie or book do you think is totally overrated? Let me think about that for myself. Overrated movie. I'm not sure. What book? What do you think? Harry Potter, is it overrated or underrated? We're going through questions, if you just joined us, questions that you could ask your friends or family members to get to know them a bit better. Someone that you care about. Makes good conversations, actually. Who would you most like to sit next to on a 10-hour flight and why? I think Dalai Lama would be a good one for me. President Joe Biden, that would be interesting. Who else? Not sure. What are two things you know? What are two things you know you should, but you don't? That doesn't make any sense. Ignore that one. What is something you've done that you wish you could undo? That's a really good one. Good question about regrets. What's something that you've done that you wish you hadn't? Hmm, that's a tough one for me. Probably some of my early studies, I spent a lot of time studying science and engineering, although there was benefits in that too. What do you most think? What do most people? Okay, here's a good one. What do most people think about you that is absolutely not true? I like that question. A few more. What is something that can't be taught and can only be learned with age? Oh, I like that. What do you think? Here's an interesting technology question. Do you think the convenience of technology is worth the loss of privacy that comes with it? That is a really good question. I do like my technology, but I do know about the challenges of privacy and also other challenges of technology, the way they can control us a bit. That's a good one. Let's see in the comments. Has anybody shared any other good questions there? Sandra says Lord of the Rings is overrated for me. Good one. Um, technology is worth a. What are the consequences of everyone? Ah, here's another one. What are the consequences of everyone having instant distraction at their fingertips? I wonder what they're talking about. What's the consequences of that? Lack of connection, I would say. It's a good question for your friends. What makes you say, what was I thinking when you look back on your life? That's a nice one. What makes you think, what the hell was I thinking? Always think back to the time when I haven't shared that story on here. When I was a school teacher and the main door for the school was locked and it was a Sunday. I decided to jump through the window to get into school to mark the books, and the police turned up. That is a fun story. What was I thinking? Um, I was a school teacher. I was just marking my books. Just forgot the keys to the front door of the school. If you could live your life again. Here's another kind of slight regret type question. If you could live your life again, knowing what you do now, what would you change? Okay, I like this one. If you have $100 to burn or to spend, basically, and all your friends are busy and you have a whole day to yourself, what would you do? $100, £100. Well, if the lockdown wasn't on, then I'd probably go to really nice cafes, I think, and read a really good book. Probably buy a new book. Go to a nice cafe and read it. What would you do? Yeah, that's something to ask your friends, by the way. Ooh, good final question here. If you could be born again and choose what nationality, gender, and race to be, what would you choose? Hmm, not sure if I'll answer that one. I can answer that one on the whim. What country would I want to be born in? I never thought of that question. I'm actually learning things about myself. This is really weird. Not only do you learn about other people, but you learn about your own beliefs. See, what would I? What country would I want to be born in? Japan, maybe? No, I'm not sure about Japan. Denmark? Maybe Denmark, actually. Or maybe somewhere in South America. Maybe Costa Rica. Or maybe some sort of paradise island. Costa Rica, I think, is interesting because if they really maximize well-being and think about the environment a lot, that'd be one interesting place to be born in. Japan, I think, puts too much pressure on children generally. Uh, Denmark's good. I think I'm thinking about places where they optimize happiness and well-being. Where would you like to be born? Which country would you be born? Would you like to be born in if you could be reborn? What do you think? What would people say about you at your funeral? That's a good question. Finally, he's gone. I don't know what they'd say. It's a good question, actually. I'm going to put that up. What would people say about you at your funeral? It's a good question to ask people. Oh, another good one. Sandra, you're on form today. If you had just one more day to live, what would you do? I'm guessing you're saying. Yeah. We'll never know which day is our final one, so good question. Ah, Zoe says she'd quite like to be born in Iceland. Cool. Yeah, I didn't think of Iceland. They're really sounds cold though. Sounds a bit too cold for me. Even Denmark could be a bit too chilly. um anyway, thanks for your questions and comments. Um, you know what? If you're in the part of the group called the Mindful Champions group where I'm sharing this, I'm going to share a link to a uh, retreat which we will doing probably next Sunday. I'll send an Eventbrite link. I'll share it with others as well. We've got a whole week, but next Sunday we hope to do a little retreat from 9:30 to 11:30, which you're welcome to join as well. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for watching, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Have a great Sunday. Bye for now.